Welcome to the PHF podcast. My name is Michael Babcock. I am the Marketing Communications Coordinator here at the Portage Health Foundation and the host of this podcast. This month, as you may have noticed by those who subscribe to our feed, we are doing quite the series. We're talking to as many of the 18 nonprofit partners as we can related to Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is Tuesday, December 1st. It is our way of getting the community to be more aware and to support all of the incredible nonprofits in our community. We are matching up to $200,000 in community donations to those 18 organizations. If you want to see a list of 18 organizations and make your donation, you can go to phfgive.org/givingtuesday. And today we're going to be talking to one of them. We're going to be talking to Iola at the Keweenaw Family Resource Center. Iola, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah, we're excited to have you, and excited to have you guys back for the fourth year in a row for Giving Tuesday. You guys are one of our favorite organizations because of the unique work you do, and the fact that it fits so perfectly in our hopes of making a healthier community for everybody through all the work you do. So let's start with there. What kind of work do you guys do?
So what we're most well known for is the Treehouse Indoor Playground, which is a indoor playground with a treehouse inside for children age birth through age 4. It's a very popular aspect of what we do, along with play groups in the community. Playtime in the Park has been going on for over 15 years, where we meet with families in the community all summer long. This year we expanded that to outdoor play groups in the winter to help with offset of some of the things that we can't do inside. But besides the in-person play groups, we do a variety of things. We try to provide parenting information and packets to every family with a newborn at both hospitals. This year, the nurses are helping us out by delivering those. Those parents have opportunities to sign up for a newsletter that they can get every month for the first year of their child's life that gives them what to expect, some tips of things they can do. I hear that families like to hang on to those and share them with grandparents and older siblings. And we have a baby closet that provides diapers and wipes and gently used clothing for families. If we can get a hold of them, we provide porta cribs as well for safe sleep environments. They're a little harder for us to get a hold of. Yeah, that's just a few of the things, along with lots of other active parenting tips, supporting and parenting classes that we provide.
And one of the things you guys are do is the Great Start Collaborative, I believe. Tell me a little bit about that is.
The Copper Country Great Start Collaborative is state funding that we receive to help us coordinate the early childhood work within the entire Copper Country. So this is a statewide initiative. Every intermediate school district has this funding. Ours has chosen to work with the Keweenaw Family Resource Center to implement that in the community. So we work with the child cares and the Head Starts and preschools, along with the schools, and pretty much anyone who just wants to see families have a great start for the younger children, improving literacy, health outcomes, and social emotional development of children in the area. So that's been a real pleasure to work with because I get to know so many other people that really love families with young children.
Yeah, and I was when my daughter was born, I remember getting the visit you guys had, as well as getting those monthly newsletters. So those have been really valuable to me and my family. And I imagine there's many other families out there that kind of feel the same way, that it's really nice to have a resource like that out there. And one of the things that I want to also tell people is if you guys want to get involved with this organization, there's no special requirements or anything like that. You just need to reach out to you guys, and you can use Indoor Playground. Tell me a little bit what the playground is and how people can access that, as well as some of the other services.
So we are a community-based program, which means that we're open to everyone. One of my favorite stories about the playground is I had a new medical provider in the community bring her young child to play, and I had a lady who was living in the shelter home bring her son to play. And they're chatting and just enjoying each other's company, and the kids are playing together. And I'm the only one that knows that one is there on a scholarship and the other one is that they're from different socioeconomic worlds. So the Treehouse Indoor Playground really is a neutral place for children to come, interact with each other, learn social skills, parents to meet people. Another one of my favorite stories, and this was a early family that their children are now adults, said that our playgroups helped save her life because she was so overwhelmed as a young parent and didn't have a support group. And the people that she met during our playgroups are still her friends today and still help her when she faces challenges. So that's what it's about. It's about bringing the community together, why providing the kids a safe, comfortable place to play, especially in the winter. Our snow drifts get deeper than the kids' heads.
Right, and that's, I mean, you think about that all the time. People, what can we do? How can we make things happen? I want to, have some fun with my kids, but it's, we're in our small house or whatever it is, and these opportunities exist. And the other thread of that Great Start Collaborative is because, like you said, you're known most for the treehouse, but really the Keweenaw Family Resource Center does a whole bunch of things behind the scenes to help our children be healthier in the future, and hopefully help future generations survive and thrive in a way that we didn't have before, because these things are relatively new. Tell me about your first experience with the Keweenaw Family Resource Center.
I tell people that I came in the back door. I came in as a parent. I was looking for a way to give back to the community and work with issues specifically facing families of that were facing challenges. My own history has a lot of adversity in it in the last 10 years. And I was new to the Copper Country, and so I joined the Great Start Parent Coalition and got involved with some of their Strengthening Families concepts, which is a framework that supports development in families. And then when Kathy was retiring, on a whim, I said, "Hey, Kathy, would you be interested in me applying?" And so I did. That's Kathy Benda, for the many people that do know her and the impact she had on the community in the 20 years she was here. Yeah, so it was very interesting because my kids were 12 when I joined. So not in the age bracket that we serve, but this is definitely the passion area for me to work in.
Excellent. And tell me a little bit about some of your employees there, and what kind of things you look for in them, and what keeps them motivated to serve like they do.
Half of our employees, more than half of our employees, came in as parents in participating in our programs and services. 2 of them have been here over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how long they love it here. But what motivates them is the fact that they get to see and interact with all the children and their parents in the community, and see the impact that it's had in their own lives, along with lives of their friends. The other ones that are newer, again, it's about them really making these life-changing decisions. One of our employees, her job is family support. And what she gets to do is this incredible opportunity just to sit with a family in crisis and help them work through a goal to support that crisis. That could be her coaching them on how to access Michigan Works or Department of Health and Human Services. Because if you've never been in a crisis situation where you need to ask for outside help, it can be hard to know what to do first. And so that's what she does. She sits down with them and helps them. And then if they need long-term help, she has home visiting available, where she works with them on a weekly or bi-weekly basis to support their child's in their education and long-term goals.
Excellent. That's like I said, it's all these things behind the scenes that people don't really understand. But having that space is really valuable. But these other things can really change lives in ways that it can't ever be measured, really.
Yeah. And a lot of times we don't even know the impact because they're here for a short time and then they move on. We've had people that were here as students students and parents
Mm-hmm.
that have now moved on to jobs in other cities, and their departing words is, "I hope we can find a place like this in where the city they're moving to."
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to look it up for them, but they're hard to find.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too. Well, they're trying to find that in other places. I imagine there's a lot of parents here that are trying to find that here and don't know it exists. And it's, it's one of the reasons that we want to do this Giving Tuesday, is to bring more attention to organizations like this. So if you're listening to this podcast and you know these things, and you're thinking everybody knows these things, I encourage you to share this. Put it on your Facebook feed. I think you'll be surprised how many people aren't aware of the resources that are available, and it's just something that people, they're not looking for it maybe, or they don't really realize that they're looking for it. But once you realize what services are available, there's a lot more opportunity to make a difference. And so, Iola, my next question here, This is something that when I think about my organization, I think what's my favorite thing we do, or what's the biggest success story we have. Tell me about when you think about the KFRC, you think about one of your best success stories, and of course, with privacy concerns, I don't want to hear any, we don't need names or anything like that, but just a family that went through or something like that.
Um, we had a family that was international students a few years ago. Young mom, dad was a student at Tech and his grad student. And you could see that she was just struggling between the language barriers that she faced, because often the student will be more proficient in English than the stay-at-home parent. And then the barriers to accessing resources in the community that were available to her. Was just a challenge. So even though we had a hard time understanding each other, I could see that she really felt safe here and met other families that were similar to herself, but also reached out to families that were different. And to me, that was incredible. The story ends that he found a job down in Grand Rapids, the general Grand Rapids area, and their life was just completely different because they were able to finish school with the 3 young children and move on to work that was going to support them long term. Yeah, and like I said, we didn't always understand what each other was saying, but we left as friends. And I miss families like that. This is the friendship and the connections and things like that we can build during their
Yeah.
time here.
And we're going to go into, when you say you miss families like that, we're going to that in a moment. But I do want to remind people, if you want to support the Keweenaw Family Resource Center through Giving Tuesday, you can go to phfgive.org/Giving Tuesday. There's a donation form there. We're matching up to $200,000 in donations that go to them and 18 other organizations, or 17 other organizations. You can do that through Giving Tuesday, which is on Tuesday, December 1st. You can also send us a check. The address is 400 Quincy Street in Hancock. And same thing, if you do that, make sure you write in the memo line KFRC or Keweenaw Family Resource Center to make sure that your check goes to them specifically. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is every organization is different, and in a little behind the scenes here right now, I am at my house. I know Iola is at her office right now, and we're all just kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do with current 3-week orders to work from home if we have the opportunity. And that you may have noticed some audio that's been a little scratchy through this a couple of times, or maybe not. I don't know how it's going to work. We're all still trying to figure this out, because that's really what we're all trying to do through all of this, is trying to figure it out and do the best we possibly can. So how has COVID affected your organization? What kind of things have been different for you guys this year?
Well, it's definitely been a challenge. I want to fully recognize how hard COVID has been on individuals and families. We At the Treehouse Indoor Playground, we do everything we can to keep the playground open and safe for families to come. And traditionally, we have large crowds here. This year, we're not allowing large crowds. We've had extra cleaning procedures, and circumstances like these next 3 weeks, we have to close the doors just for the community safety. And that's been controversial that we've been open, but it really is about that family that's feeling overwhelmed and isolated, having someplace they can come and connect that with safe, because a lot of time it is just one family or 2 families at a time, but the staff are intentionally spending time connecting with them so that they don't feel alone. My staff laugh all the time that it takes me 20 minutes to go pick up copies, because I have to leave my office and walk through the playground to the copier, and I stop and I chat and I play with the kids, and then I'll do the reverse on the way back. So my staff laugh that when I'm in the office, I get way less done. And they're probably right. So that's been challenging. We've been trying some new things, which is exciting, but also a challenge in and of itself. Like, we've tried some virtual connection times for parents. We're doing tummy time online when we're not open. It does not seem to be the way parents want to connect. Parents want that face-to-face. So we're also doing winter outdoor play groups, because many families feel safer outdoors. Again, they're group size limited, and we're doing masks. Our staff wears masks. We encourage everyone else to follow the state policies on mask wearing. But our staff says 2 hours out when it's super cold is rough. So we will continue doing those. We paused them this week. Next week would be our outdoor playgroup. We paused it because of the Thanksgiving break and just where the community is at this week. And then, of course, it's really tough on families because all of a sudden you're not just mom taking care of the toddlers, your mom and dad taking care of the toddlers and schooling your school age. And then you don't know how long or when they will be there. So there's routines are off, and, preschool parents are struggling with routine. You're in school this week, the kid is finally accepting being in the classroom, and then you're home. And then and I'm like, what are my high schoolers doing today while I'm at work when they're supposed to be online schooling? I really don't know.
Right.
Trying to take extra time off to check in on them and things like that. So I want to recognize just how hard it's been. And that's not talking about the economic impact on so many households. We served the number of families in our baby closet in April that we typically do an entire year.
Wow.
In 1 month, we served over 50 families.
Yeah.
It slowed some as different economic supports have come into place, but we still have families that call because they're job loss, or they're online or remote schooling their children this year, and so they're unable to work, and that's impacting them economically. But that's why we're here.
Yeah, and what I heard, I mean, I just can't help but think of the word sisu with all of this. You guys are all persevering through this the best you possibly can. Your staff, those parents, our community as a whole, and and one of the things you didn't talk about, and I know we've talked about this a little bit off of the podcast here, but the financial situation has been different, not necessarily dire, but just different for you guys as an organization. And some people might not realize, though, that the financials of an organization are just one piece of it. Going through everything you guys have gone through this year, and this is similar for many of these organizations, the stresses of all of it is too much. And as we look to the future years, with what's going to happen with state funding, given that, or in federal funding, given all of the trouble we're going to be in with trying to recover from all of this, it's very difficult. And that's one of the reasons that we want to have people. If you have the opportunity to give back to these organizations, please do. This is a great chance to have your dollar go a lot further with this donation. We're matching it dollar for dollar up to $200,000. This is going to make a big difference, for organizations like the Resource Center. You guys have received quite a bit of funding over the last years. What has that funding meant to you from Giving Tuesday?
This funding really helps us stabilize some of our programs and services, and it's allowed us to be able to continue in uncertain times without question of, can we afford this? So that's been fantastic. The Porch Health Foundation has been so great, such a great partner for us over the last 4 years. Like, for some of the things that we do is we provide scholarships for active military families. So our Coast Guard families, our other military families that are in the community can come to the treehouse at no charge, and many of them have taken advantage of that over the years. Also, low-income families that may not have the $6 admission fee, though we don't ever want someone not coming because they can't afford it. Yeah, and then children with developmental delays, we have a lot of equipment here that were picked out by occupational and physical therapists that support children as they learn new skills. And so we want those families to have access without worrying about the cost. So we provide lots of scholarships. We also are using some of the funds this year to help us do more take and make and outreach activities, such as the gratitude tree that we've been doing over the last month on Facebook, which for me, it's been a fun thing. Every time I get discouraged, I sit down and I make a leaf and I stick it up on the window. I shouldn't say every time I get discouraged, but at least once a week, I try to sit down and think about what's good happening.
Tell us about the gratitude tree. I heard a little bit about it, and it seems like a really cool project you guys are doing.
So the gratitude tree is just an opportunity for families or individuals. It doesn't even have to be a child. It could be grandma and grandpa or community member, for us to pause as a community and think about things that we are thankful for. Like today, I'm really thankful that I have a warm house to go home to when it's cold out. And so I just wrote that on a tree. on a paper leaf, and I put it on our window here at the resource center, and we update these on Facebook every once in a while, so you can see how the tree is filling with leaves and see what different people are thankful for. A lot of ours, because of the kids in the age we work with, is just scribbles. It's great,
Mm-hmm.
which I love, because the parents, like, they'll scribble it, and then sometimes the parents will make a leaf along with them. If a family wants access to leaves, we do have it on our website, careforkids.org, where they can go print one of their own, or they could just post on Facebook and I'll make the leaf for them. I've done that for several people. Yeah, I find it as myself as a stress relieving activity, because we get caught up in the can'ts and won'ts and all the struggles that we're facing, but we really do have a lot of good things right now. You know, 10 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to say, okay, here, do this school online. My kids are interacting with their teachers and their friends. My son has game club planned this afternoon virtually with his 5 friends. So it's just incredible, the things that we can do, and sometimes we forget of the opportunities we have available to us, whether that is, I heard today is supposed to be 50 degrees, and so yeah, we should all be thankful for that one.
That's a wonderful November day in the Copper Country. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to get outside and enjoy that a little bit.
Yeah,
Well, a
I'm
lot
hoping
be
to
grateful
this
for.
evening.
And it fits into the whole Giving Tuesday thing. I mean, Thanksgiving is all about being thankful, and that's what started. That's next Thursday. That's what starts this whole thing. There's Thanksgiving, this day of thanks and family and friends, and trying to, we won't be enjoying our meals together this year in the same way we usually do, but we can still hopefully do exactly the kind of things you're talking about. Do video calls with people. Get back and get in touch with those people that you're close to, because yeah, you can't see them, you can't travel, but you can talk to them. There's all kinds of technologies available, and then it goes into, we have all these shopping days over the weekend, Small Business Saturday, the Monday, the Friday, all that stuff, and then we get back to Giving Tuesday, which is what we're doing here specifically. Again, if you want to donate to support these organizations, phfgive.org/Giving Tuesday. We're matching up to $200,000. So Iola, my final question for you is, how can people further support you? Obviously, the Giving Tuesday donation is one thing. What else can they do to show support for the Keweenaw Family Resource Center?
Giving Tuesday is huge for us. I can't emphasize that enough. It's our biggest fundraiser every year, and thank you so much for doing that. But beyond Giving Tuesday, sharing our information is really helpful. We want to engage with families and support them during this time. So send us your ideas. We're looking for new things, how to connect with people. Let people know that we are still here. And then be patient as we all work through this together, understanding that things are different for now. I like that people have been using the term "for now normal,"
Right.
and that's kind of it. And then the other things, give your kids an extra hug. The emotions out there, they feel our stress, they have their own stress, they need that extra support from their parent at this moment. Just to know that it might not all be perfect, but they're not alone in the issues that we're facing.
Right. So thank you so much for that. We're gonna have to make a nice social media post on that. Iola says give your child a hug, and it's gonna make everybody feel better, because it's true. Hugs always make people feel better. So I want to thank you so much for doing this podcast. It's been great to talk with you. And I want to thank everybody for tuning into this. You can find our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all those places. You can find it on YouTube or Facebook as well. And if you want to make your donation, go to phfgive.org/Giving Tuesday. All right. Well, thank you, Iola.
Well, thank you.